unwritten rules of the game. Not even Manny Ramirez could do that. And Manny put up numbers.
So Javi Baez, in what ways is he getting preferential treatment from the great Caucasian audience of America's pastime?
They whenever you hear them describe a player and they say, oh, he plays the game with such passion, so much fun, like a kid, he makes it feel like a kid's game. Whenever you hear someone say things like that, it's like coded language for like, yeah, he does crazy. Well, not like crazy. Yeah, he does stuff that's enjoyable. You know, he like tags people. He plays with swag. And it's like, yeah, everyone can play with swag, but y'all get mad when other people do it. Right? Like, when Yasiel Puig does the same things, y'all say he's trying to show somebody up. Right? Even though Yasiel Puig makes an outstanding throw, or like Yasiel Puig on a ball that should be a double is hustling to make it to third. That's a part of the game. The game is sometimes you get thrown out, sometimes you don't. When he gets there, it's an awesome highlight. Look at his hustle. Look at his speed, his athleticism. When he gets thrown out, oh, look at this dumb play, naive. Yep. You got to be better than that. Javi don't get this. What I mean by that is Javi don't get the second part. When Javi make a mistake, they don't show it. They just show the, you know, you'll see Javi make the catch and make the point, like the point tag. You'll see the point tag, right? They don't show you the time where Javi goes to make the quick tag and he misses the ball or drops the ball. They don't show those things. And again, like I said, it's no point of, I'm not trying to bash Javi. I enjoy it. I enjoy him. I think what I would love for him to do more is use his platform to put other players of color on. I would love for him to be like, everybody can play this way. But in baseball, it's not appropriate for people to have a voice like that. But yeah, so I like I said, I don't hate the player. I hate the game.
So let me ask you real quick.
It's nothing against Javi.
Let me ask you real quick. In terms of white baseball fans, who do you think is more popular towards them? Javi Baez or Bryce Harper?
Javi Baez.
Woo! Whoa! Javi Baez has got the appeal. And also, people just be hating on Bryce Harper too much. I just think they do.
It's funny that you named the two players who are on the cover of the video game.
True. I wasn't even thinking about that. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2. And I'm going to get it right this week. Of the RBI Kings. It's RBI Kings, not the in front of it, just RBI Kings. And I didn't say RB King this week.
RB King.
Jerell Jones.
Trey Songz gonna slide out of here from.
Hey,
Trey Songz and Patrice Everett with a raw chicken gonna come into this episode out of nowhere. You rang for R&B Kings.
Well, happy Thanksgiving. I love this game. As Patrice Everett would say brilliantly. Jerell Jones, James Eddy, who is the finest baseball mind to me in all of the land of these states. I used to be one of the finest baseball minds, but I, have so many things to handle where, let's just say, I don't know the top prospects of many teams overall, but this side does, and most importantly, is still the best general baseball discussion that you will have overall. Even if you watch the KBO, you still will find that all the way in terms of awesome discussion. But, I want to ask you before we get into anything real quick. I got to give ESPN credit in terms of they're still showing the KBO where the season has started in terms of MLB. But the KBO with this contract, I guess they are obligated to watch the air of the whole Korean baseball organization, the whole entire season, which is wrong because they have fans in the stands now because they knew how to contain the virus in South Korea. What's your whole thoughts in terms of them still showing KBO, even if they don't market it as well as they, obviously did when no MLB games were on?
My first issue was the time slot that ESPN, because they don't necessarily re-air the KBO games. I found that disrespectful, especially as the KBO was nice enough to give us something when we had absolutely nothing.
Yes, good point.
And what frustrates me is the product is better than Major League Baseball from an entertainment standpoint.
Woo!
The brand of baseball that they play is faster. They play a faster brand of baseball. So because of it, like you can sit down and you can watch a KBO game, and for the most part, when you woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, it started at 5, and it probably ended at before Get Up started, right? Like 7:38.
Yeah,
the game would be done.
Not too late. Not.
2.5, 2.5, 3-hour game. Whereas Sunday, look at like the Yankees Red Sox game, started at 7:30 last week, and I want to say it might have ended at 11, 12. Right? Like, and this is no fans in the stands. This is no 3-pitcher rule. The reason is because they put the ball in play. That's their style of baseball. The guys don't throw as hard, but they don't throw as hard, and they pitch to contact. So you're getting a lot more balls in play. It's so funny because when I was watching the initial broadcast, you could see that ESPN was not used to the pacing.
Nope.
So they had all of these things planned out for Carl Ravitch, Eduardo Perez. Like they were thinking like the innings were going to last longer, and they just were running through so many. Like it was like the 5th inning, and they were like trying to do interviews with Eric Thames, who used to play in the KBO, and it would have to stretch over like 3 innings as opposed to being 1/2 inning like it is in America.
Yeah.
Because the game is so much faster. It's a better product.
Man,
to be quite honest, it's where.
Sorry.
I just was going to conclude and say it's where MLB wants to get back to.
Man, everything's saying was fascinating because whenever they interview him or Daniel Kim, in terms of him as a Korean baseball expert overall, the good sir Daniel Kim, who has to be like, y'all really don't be paying attention at all to like KBO whenever they saw. I gotta tell you, man, they were a little fortunate that the Nippon League, with Japan having to still try to handle the virus overall and had to delay, their baseball season start. Like, they were lucky that Japan, because the Nippon League is a better league than KBO. The Nippon League, the best, baseball league outside of like America. Outstanding, tremendous teams overall. Japan's favorite sport. That the Nippon League, if they show that on ESPN, they'd be like, wow. This is better KBO. This is better than them. This is why we get what we get.
Yeah, the product. I think I think that's a good take. I think the Nippon League would have been scary. It would have been scary because you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting the talent from Major League Baseball with a combination of the speed and style of play that Korean baseball. I mean, I can't even say the style. Korean baseball does have a little bit more swag. It's awesome to see those guys in their awesome glasses. It's awesome to see the bat flips.
Yeah. You say South Korean baseball, South Korean baseball has more swag than Japanese baseball?
Yeah. Japanese baseball is about the crowd and you get it from the crowd and the environment. That's where the KBO gets it from too. So without a crowd, the Japanese baseball is a little bit more traditional in that sense.
Yeah.
Of old rules. That's why the Japanese players adapt better when they come here, because the style and the rule set is very Americanized.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, from
Korea looks like they learned how to play baseball from a group of people from the Caribbean. That's how Korea plays. Korea plays like
yes, that's true.
Flagged out chains like that. That's what Korea's about.
Yes, they do. Because from Ichiro all the way to Deki Matsui to now Shohei Ohtani, it's like something where you don't get that like very charismatic Japanese player that's just like, I am a personality and I'm gonna be Me and Shohei
Well,
last year overall.
the biggest. It's why it was such a big deal when Yu Darvish came over here.
Yeah.
Because Yu Darvish was supposed to be, he was different because he had, I think his dad is Turkish.
I'll tell you that in a second.
So it's why everybody was so excited to see him, because he was coming, he was Japanese, so everybody was excited because it was gonna be like, oh, is he gonna have a different? And that's why his pitching style is a little different from.
His father's Persian, actually.
His
Iranian. Yep.
Persian. Okay.
Yep. And wow, his father played. Played
I apologize.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no problem. Like his father said.
Yeah.
His father played at Florida State. Wow. And for soccer, damn. Yu Darvish? Man, Yu Darvish? You're American, Yu Darvish?
So it was that's why what made it so exciting, because he was going to be different. Whereas, like I said, you see the Korean players come and they got a little bit more swag. You look at Shin-Soo Choo, he got tattoos. When you see Shin-Soo Choo play, his shirt's open, he got the button undone, like he's coming out with the flair. Like, let's go. All right? Like, we are here. That's how they come up. We are here. Whereas the Japanese players come in, it's a little bit more like, okay, we're trying to fit in and do our best. So it's different style of baseball. That's why I love the KBO. It's different. I honestly wish, like I said, I wish the presentation was better. That's honestly what I wish was better. I wish it wasn't Carl Ravitch and Eduardo Perez. I wish they didn't try to run it like Major League Baseball light. I wish they gave us swag. I wish they gave us some attitude with it. Have you ever watched the FIBA 3x3 3-on-3 basketball?
I gotta tell you, no. I mean, I barely watched. I rarely have ever watched FIBA 3-on-3. You feel like
okay? So the reason I'm asking is because when you watch FIBA 3-on-3, they are definitely trying to present it and keep it in the home of you playing this on the street. Even though the style, it has rules, it has uniforms, they look professional, it's professional quality. The presentation is like there's a DJ playing in the background, there's a voiceover. It's like going to watch an A1 mixtape. It's like watching an A1 game, right? Like, it's like, this is where the sport comes from, and we're going to meet the sport where it is. I wish ESPN took that chance and did that with the KBO, right? Like, get some swagged out. It's the morning. It's 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we're gonna swag it out, right? Like, we gonna get some. Don't give me Doug Granville. I'm trying to get me like Jimmy Rollins.
You like take Jimmy Rollins for the sport. You like ESPN, go snatch when Doug Glanville has provided such incredible Black perspectives for non-Black people that love baseball, that are slowly trying to understand Black Lives Matter. And Doug Glanville is remarkable. Like, you mean tell me Doug Glanville still doesn't have enough?
I'm not getting at Doug Glanville. I'm not getting at Doug Glanville.
We love you, Doug.
I'm not getting at Doug Glanville, but Doug Glanville's kind of status quo, right? Have you seen when you watch Dontrell Willis, Cliff Floyd, there's a difference.
Tremendous on TV. Like, Jimmy, really solid, really good on TV, definitely. You know, so you're right about that. But yeah, that's
right. And I don't want Doug Glanville to not be. I don't want Doug Glanville to not be himself. He's professional. He's good. He's a brother. He's been there. And I want him to be himself. It's like, that's why I didn't say Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas is good. He's professional. But if I'm looking for swag, if I'm looking for somebody who's going to bring some character and some excitement.
Ooh, the Big Hurt.
Those are two names that ain't coming. Like, I'll even take a Nick Swisher. Like, I need somebody who's going to be out there. Like, all the way out there.
That's Nick Swisher. He be swishing. That's not that. Yeah, I'm done. That's my man, Nick Swisher. Well, speaking of swishing or someone of New York ties overall, Yoenis Cespedes and Yoenis Cespedes represented how this season. I gotta tell you, man, like after the Cardinals players and after the Marlins players, I have always been said that I'll be shocked if they really get through the first month of the season. Buster only has been like 5% finish he thinks it is, and everything. Yoenis Cespedes, he just took it under his in his own hands. Now, the only thing Yoenis Cespedes did wrong was not tell anybody beforehand because they thought this man had died or not. I would have been like that too. So Yoenis Cespedes, you should have told somebody at least that you were going to do that besides your agent or whatnot, because I would have been scared, especially after Tyler Skaggs and all that last year.
Andrew, you realize you're talking to the man who, after rehabbing and need to come back from surgery, injured himself on his ranch trying to chase a boar. Do you realize this is the man who we are talking about?
Man, that's why him and So Please would have a great podcast. Because I could imagine the discussion that they would have in Great Espanol about their realness overall. Because, I mean, he made the right damn decision in this instance other than not say anything. Because I would be like, man, this is not protecting me. Why the hell are we even here? Like, why? And
well, similar to what you were saying, I could see it like when you watch him play, you could see it was like slowly crossing his mind. It also didn't help that like the announcers for the Mets games would not stop talking about how important he was this season and how he needed to earn the money for his contract. Yep. I was like, dude, why would I stay? Why would I do this? And then he didn't look like he was fully healed. He looked like he was about 20 pounds bigger than a guy who should be trying to heal from a Achilles tear. Like, everything about Yoenis Cespedes screamed, give me more time. And then the Marlins and the Cardinals situations happened, and it was the perfect excuse for him to be like, okay, I can get out. Like, y'all gonna let me opt out again? Okay, yeah, we are out of here. And I'm not gonna tell anybody because that's the way Yoenis Cespedes rolled. I would have not been surprised if Yoenis Cespedes caught a private plane or told Met staff he's going home. And they thought he meant he was going to his condo in New York, and he meant home in Florida. Like, I would not be surprised if that was the case.
Because it's so true. I mean, I don't even know. I see if he's on Instagram like that, because that would say it all if he was with that. Because
I'm telling you, I would not be surprised if he just was like, oh, the game's postponed? Okay, I'm going home, right? Like, that's what he says. And then, like, they're like, oh, okay. And everybody's like, well, where's Yoenis? And he's like, he went home. And then they checked his apartment. Homeboy's not there. Just, like, gone, right? And then they're like, this man, where is he? We lost him. We've lost him. And then they called his agent. His agent's like, what do you mean he's not in his condo? Then he's trying to call Yoenis. At this point, Yoenis is in the plane, right? You got to remember the plan. So Yoenis is on the plane. So no one can get in contact with him. Because, and then once he lands, the agent finally gets contact with him. It's like, where are you going? He's like, I told him I was going home. I went home.
That's believable for sure. Because, man, look, somebody had to know something in there. And, somebody in the organization had to know that he was doing that. Teammate, somebody. Because Damn. That does not look good for the Mets overall if they don't have anyone that knew that was going to go down.
But tell me, were you surprised when you saw that he was going to opt out? Were you surprised? That's my question to you.
I mean, not at all, but just how the fashion happened. And it's just something that just makes me really, really laugh for probably the rest of the time because he got out.
Oh, yeah. No, I knew once that happened, I was like, oh, okay. So when I saw that he was lost, I was like, oh, he ain't lost. He at home. Like, that's the way, in my mind, I was like, he ain't lost. He went home. And he just didn't tell nobody. It's like the Ricky Henderson signing bonus story. Have you ever heard that story before, Andrew?
The Ricky Henderson signing bonus story? Yeah. Yeah, well, in terms of when he signed with the Mets, or when he signed with, like, in terms of the A's, of course, obviously.
In the A's, when he signed with the A's, his first contract he signed after.
It is Bobby Bo. It's almost Bobby Bonilla proportions. I remember this, even though Bobby Bonilla will always never be top. But
Bobby Bonilla's contract is genius, which I didn't realize there were several deferred contracts.
Yes.
Like Albert Pujols has a deferred payment. I think the Angels have to pay him after he retires. I think they have to pay him $3 million for the next 20 years after he retires, or something crazy like that. It's something ridiculous.
Albert, I'm running up the money, so I need that back pay.
It's something ridiculous like that. There's several guys. I think Ichiro's still getting paid by the Mariners. There's several of them that exist.
Oh yeah.
So Ricky Henderson got a signing bonus when he signed his first contract post arbitration, and the A's were like, we're missing $3 million that hasn't been cleared, right? When they were trying to do an audit and fix their books. So then they realized, someone asked Ricky, like, Ricky, what'd you do with that? Some way, somehow they tracked it that it was Ricky's money. So they asked Ricky, they said, Ricky, what'd you do with that check that you got for your signing bonus? Ricky goes, oh, I framed it.
Yes, he did.
He said that was the most money he ever seen in his entire life. He never deposited the check. He framed it.
Yes.
So that's what Cespedes thing. That's what Cespedes. The news about Cespedes came out. It was like, Cespedes ain't lost. He ain't lost in New York. Like, no one stole him. No one did any of that.
Whew.
He just went home. He went to Florida and was like, I'm done. Now I can't blame him.
I cannot blame him at all. And Ricky Henderson would have certainly went home and not even been a part of this nonsense. And man, that's all. That's something with Cespedes. You are the real one for doing that overall. Now, before we get into like the second main topic, ask you quick about who's been, besides Aaron Judge, the Yankees overall. This is my Yankee mask. Yankee mask. Where is it at? Where are you at? It's over there. Who for you has been the best player so far to start this this season so far? And then it'll be that we're still not sure it's really gonna make it all the way to the end. I don't think it will. But who for you has been?
I think it's gonna make it to the end. They're just gonna bring bodies in. The way the MLB is working right now, they're just gonna bring bodies to finish this at this point. I don't know. It's not that I don't know. This is a really tough question. The Pirates have Haran is their leading the league in home runs. He's doing well. I saw Howie Kendrick had an outstanding day the other day. The couple of games that I've seen, he's doing outstanding.
Always been a great hitter.
He has been. The Eddy family philosophy of hitting, Howie Kendrick would be one of the. He would be one of our founding members.
Yeah. You are.
Perfect understanding.
Yes, he is.
Understanding pitch and then making solid contact.
Yes, he
obviously, Aaron Judge has been off to a tremendous start. Who else has been pretty good? There's been a lot of guys who are slow start. I've been watching Nolan Arenado for the Colorado Rockies. I love to watch Nolan Arenado play. I think he's someone who often gets overlooked. I don't know why Nolan Arenado gets overlooked. As you know, I love
playing in Denver. That's why.
Huh?
Playing in
I
Denver.
don't think. Well, the thing about it is Arenado's swing translate like his game.
Well, I mean, like in terms of the media market, not holding Coors Field.
Yeah,
but you know.
and yeah, that's what I was gonna conclude with too. Is like that's why I stopped myself. It's because I stopped myself because I'm a little. I see a lot of people who evaluate talent and they'll say things like that. And I feel like there's a lot of people who work and talk about baseball who get paid handsomely to do that and can give me a lot of statistics to back up what they want to say, right? But when I watch Nolan Arenado swing and his defense and his overall game, it surpasses Coors Field. His style, his swing, his game, it does not scream, oh, I have padded numbers because of Coors Field. When you see him hit the ball, he usually hits the ball pretty solidly. When he hits the ball hard, it's usually hit very, very well. He's very consistent with his hitting. There's not a lot of holes in his swing. It's not compact. I wouldn't say it's long either, but when he attacks the ball, and when he makes contact, like I said, it's pretty solid. And those are the two things that you can control is where the pitch is, are you going to swing? And when you swing, what kind of contact are you producing? So when he makes solid contact, he's making solid contact. He's making very, very solid contact. So and the ball goes far. I think that's what makes people nervous about the next player I was going to talk about, Mookie Betts, who is one of my favorites. Mookie makes solid contact, but he doesn't get as much distance as larger players like Stanton and Judge, who when they make solid contact, the ball's just naturally going to go farther because they're bigger. But he makes solid contact more consistently than they do. Another player who's playing really, really well is Nelson Cruz for the Minnesota Twins. I was watching a game the other day with my dad.
Yeah, and they got also a fine star.
He was laughing because he said, he goes, James, how many teams is this guy on? How many teams have to give up on this guy before they realize he can just hit? He's been doing this for like 10 years now. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I don't know. I was like, but you know how it is, Daddy. I was like, you can't, he's a DH essentially. But the thing that always happens to him is he gets injured. But so, when I'm looking at consistency, as I was saying, I'm kind of an old school stat nerd in that way, where like, yeah, you could have a good season, but I'd rather get the guy. You can have one season where you hit 349, put up 40 bombs, and I'll call it the Pete Alonso year, right? You can have a great Pete Alonso year where you hit 280.
You already putting Pete Alonso under that? You think he can't follow that like that?
He ain't gonna hit. His swing's not made for 50 bombs. I mean, for this generation, can't. He had a Mark McGwire year, and Mark McGwires aren't gonna be consistent in the modern day baseball. The pitchers have too much information. They throw too hard.
Yep.
So they're gonna find his holes. What I did see from him the other day that I liked was that he did change his swing to accommodate for those shifts. But again, similar to what I just was talking about with Mookie, his swing that he put on the ball, he was able to use the ball to use his strength to muscle the ball. For a hit. And that's not going to work. You need to, or they start driving the ball so big, and he was hitting the ball solidly. But the problem is if he was hitting the ball consistently, solidly like that, his average would be higher. His average is not that high. So again, it's not that I don't understand the new stats. I just think the reason we had the old stats was because the old stats, when you watch the game, told you things, right? His swing is not something that can produce consistency. Therefore, his home run numbers might be all over the place. I don't ever think he's going to hit lower than 25 home runs, but I don't think he's going to be averaging 50. He's going to be someone like Stanton, right? 60 one year, maybe 40 another year, maybe 25 or 30, depending on how injured he is. Strike out a good amount of times. That's what he's going to be. So, again, like I was saying, you can have someone who's like a Pete Alonso. You know, they have a Pete Alonso season, but the consistent swing allows you. I'll rather have a guy who's a little higher in average, hitting less consistent home runs, but if I put him in the right spot, he's able to drive in more runs. That's what I'll rather have. So that's why the Dodgers are a team that's so dangerous. And that's why I love Mookie, why I'm super high on Mookie, where other people aren't as high on Mookie as I think they should be.
They should.
Mike Trout is coming back with dad strength, so that's going to be interesting. Albert Pujols catching up to Willie Mays has been a very interesting story.
Low key, no one has barely talked about that. Yes. I mean, they barely talked about that, you know. And it's funny that you mentioned Albert Pujols because, you know, the close on this note is about another of his famous teammates of the Angels, and Mike Trout's gotten off to a very poor start. It seems like as has been. But the person that I want,
it's not poor. It's not what people expect from Mike Trout.
Mike Trout saying this. Well, all I have to say is that he is only the second best baseball player in Los Angeles right now. Because Mookie Betts got him beat at the moment. But Mike Trout, we like Mike Trout because you're Jersey real, you're a good guy, and you're a future Yankee all the way. In fact, Mike Trout, get ready. You get ready, Mike Trout. It's coming.
Keep saying that, and I don't know how the Yankees will ever do anything with the massive amount of money he is owed.
Because we are the Yankees, sir. And that's what we are with Steinbrenner, arrogance all the way passed down to the Suns. Speaking of that, though.
Oh, I forgot someone. Nick Castellanos for the Reds. No one's paying attention to the Cincinnati Reds. This is a season to pay attention to the Cincinnati Reds. They are really good. They're fantastic. I don't want to forget my other boys. Sorry, the ticker's going by, and I'm remembering all the players who I was trying to talk about.
Show that ticker right now. Show it down.
My boy, Francisco Lindor, best shortstop in the game, even though a lot of people in Boston are going to be mad at me because they're going to say, how can you forget Xander Bogaerts? But as I said to my dad the other day, Francisco Lindor is one of the few players who I see in baseball who is always on balance when he swings. He is never off balance. He always shifts his weight with his hips perfectly, which tells me that he trusts his hands and allows his hands to make contact. So again, like you and I were talking about earlier a little bit, alluding to what it really comes down to, his swing is built from all of the practice and all of the skill that all he has to do is recognize pitch. Recognizes the pitch, makes solid contact.
Well, that is something that someone that does recognize a pitch and someone that throws a pitch, but he won't be throwing that until next season is Shohei Ohtani. And it really was disheartening to see that he was having trouble with his arm again. And the fact that he won't be able
I was going to say, I don't know how much of it is trouble with his arm. I don't know if it's actual trouble with his arm and less of, in Japan, he doesn't need to throw close to triple digits. He also was able to throw more and do more things. I think they're stopping him from doing one. I don't think it's an actual arm issue. I think it's a mental issue. I think it's a lot to come back, especially in a shortened season, to come back, get the amount of innings you need pitching, and get the amount of innings you need to be a hitter. I think it's difficult. It's really, really hard. So I think it's less of actual arm issues and more mental health. And instead of sticking him on the mound for the whole world to see him get his face torn apart, I think what they're going to do is they're going to work with him, get him to do some bullpen sessions, some throwing, some other throwing stuff on the side so that he can get conditioned. And then once he's ready, they'll try to put him back out there again. I think it's more mental than it is physical.
So you think he's going to pitch again this season?
Not this season, no. I think he's done this season. I think the excuse, that's the excuse. The excuse is what they do Tommy John wrong? Like what? Like what? That don't make no sense.
Especially
right? Like like if his arm is messed up, they need to get a refund on the Tommy John surgery.
That's the
seriously like
right, because
so it's not a physical issue; it's a mental issue. They're trying to give him the ability because it's hard. The thing about baseball is baseball, especially for him, right? Like I'm not sure if he pitched during spring training, but spring training now is like 4 months ago. So even if he did pitch during spring training, that was so long ago, he had to go through another spring training. And you're telling me he's coming back and he's not pitching.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's not a pitcher only. He's coming back from having Tommy John. He's coming back from having Tommy John, and all of the experience and reps he's gonna get is in live action. That's tough.
Ooh, you're right, man, James. I'm telling you, man, you need to be teaching a lot of these organizations how to do basic things, because there's no way anyone could say themselves of supporting, in terms of supporting overall Shohei Ohtani, that you said things that truly were not how they should feel. I mean, you said these things of how they should feel overall, because, I mean, the man, you think his arm is fine in this modern era, and you let him go pitch. So in the first place, because this is the thing, James, this guy really is a remarkable athlete. This man shows how you can do two sports and two things specifically well. I mean, this man is showing how embarrassing it is for the rest of American baseball to be like, we got pitchers that can't do a thing like that guy. And then you have people seeing like, wow, he's hitting and then he's throwing 99 miles an hour. Like, we ain't never seen this silly before, at least over here at this level. Sorry, distant Babe Ruth fans. But, it's someone where he literally is one of these players, Aaron Judge, Stanton, Pete Alonso, Lindor, so people don't think that I'm going to be just sticking on the East Coast. All right? He bets a few other guys that I'll mention in the next one, where it's just how unique and special a talent this man is, that he is excellent at two vastly different things in MLB, which are the exact opposite of each other. And, this guy is so crucial to the game in terms of getting these casual fans, or fans that used to be baseball fans but now fall into football or basketball anymore, and to keep this guy healthy, for how important it is this season for the Angels, and how is this Mike Trout seeing the frustration of his team can't even get everything organized in a way that I think would be how MLB could really, again, market a player like him and be like this. I mean, they should have been last year. Should have been like, the ultimate dual threat, besides quarterbacks, of course. The ultimate dual threat, this guy's showing it at a level. I'm just baffled by it. I really am. And
well, the hard part is it's hard to market. Similar to what you were saying, this is where modern baseball and traditional baseball again are having problems intersecting, right? The problem is the money and traditional baseball and money will always follow consistency, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the issue with modern baseball. Modern baseball's hot newness will give you a lot, like this person, and this is why arbitration is such a big deal, right? Why someone like Mookie Betts gets traded is because for fans, he checks all of our, in my personal opinion, he checks all the traditional boxes. So I will give him the money. For Red Sox personnel, he doesn't check the consistency box because it's like, okay, we need your third year. You kind of fell off in your third year, right? So with Shohei Ohtani, it's kind of like, we got to watch you do it. And we need you. Sorry, Mookie just hit a double.
All right.
We need to see you. We need to see you. We need to see you do it. You have to pitch 20 starts, and you got to go 15-1 in those 20 starts. And then when you're DHing, you have to go. You got to hit over 350 or over 300. Give us about 20 bombs and 50 RBI, and then we can say you're like a star at each thing, right? I think the other difficulty a lot of people have had with baseball as well is that there have been other players who've come before Shohei who had the ability to do both, but baseball general managers didn't think it was worth it to try to go down that venture. Now, Shohei's the first player we've had who the Angels had to pay. And in negotiating with him, he told them he was going to be a two-way player. So, he's one of a kind in that way.
Well, I think that's key, man. I think that's something that it's important that if we sensibly looked at things like you did on this one, that we could really understand and value someone as unique as him. And honestly, he would be the example of promoting to a young generation. They'd be like, you could do this at this level, and be like, oh wow, this game is exciting. Maybe I shouldn't play football. Maybe I shouldn't play basketball. Or you wouldn't put that outside, but you prioritize baseball.
Well,
and that's what I would figure. And
when we were coming up, Andrew, that's how it used to be. Only recently have I've been hearing this kids in Little League who only pitch now. In Little League.
Come on. See, I center this all around people hating on Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson. I really do center this. And, when you can't even get guys that want to do this. And also, this is why I'm so adamant about the National League when it gets to another season. If we do that or whatnot, I am so adamant about them keeping pitchers hitting. I really am. You just cannot try to make both of these leagues the same. It's what makes it really unique. They're not the same leagues.
I agree with that. Me and my dad, we talk about that all the time. How Major League Baseball we need to keep the variety in it. I'm wholly against. I like that difference. I like the difference that one league has a DH. I mean, I would like if they want to spice it up, maybe we switch it. Maybe one year the American League has a DH, and then the next year they don't. But you know,
I think they got
people don't like that because.
So you finish your thought with that. I'll tell you what I think with that.
I was gonna say because the reason people complain is because it cuts back on jobs for guys who can hit. So, but I also think it takes. I'm dead serious. That's what they say. You know.
It does. You're exactly right. But this is why it should be celebrated because guys on this roster should be able to do both, whatnot, or do all the skills at least. And I just think that I just feel that this is a thing that has been delegitimized in terms of being adept at multiple things at an elite level. And that way, there's already a generation that's not seen Dion and Bo do it at the same time, or how at a lesser level, Drew Henson, in terms of how he was able to do both at the same time. And this is something where I feel that a guy like, say, Kyler Murray, which I'm so glad he's in the NFL because he proved people wrong that I had to tell them, you keep on saying Kyler Murray can't play. Like, dude is Russell Wilson size, and he's already, at level early in his career and in college, or at least high schools or college, where he showed that ability, be able to be a top, quarterback. Now, he showed the age. So I'm saying to myself, well, he just not as good as he is in football. He was pretty damn great to be a top 10 overall pick.
Oh no, he's really good at baseball. I thought he was dumb for not going to baseball route.
And that's what a lot of did.
I think he would have made more money. The money's guaranteed in baseball, dude.
Well, I will say this though. Is that he saw Pat Mahomes' deal, and see if Kyler Murray really shows out what he can, because there's not going to be no NFL this season, but whenever this season, he's going to really make that whole thing like, damn. MLB is going to be like saying baseball money in NFLs. They say with the MLB, with other leagues that said about MLB, baseball money overall, But
the closest who's going to get to MLB contracts will be NBA. NFL will never get anywhere close to the guaranteed money that you can make.
True.
Don't even get me started about the health insurance and veterans benefits that he would have received.
That's gonna be fascinating. That's all.
And he could do that for less service time.
Strong point there. Strong point indeed. Well,
now marketability off the field, that's a different story.
See, damn, this is one step at a time, James. The popularity that just shot down the chances of popularity right there, just when we was building it up. And then the realness truth.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's the truth. I'm not gonna lie. I can't convince students. You know how hard it was when I worked at a high school to try to tell half the kids who I knew were gonna get cut from the JV basketball team to go play baseball?
Damn.
Do you know how difficult that was? First of all, the game is difficult. You don't see success often, and you don't see success early.
Yep, you fell 7 times out of 10, at least.
So you don't see success. There's no one marketing who looks like them.
Mm-hmm. True.
Right? They don't baseball doesn't really publicize the amount of money that they're giving. They don't talk about, and then they also don't talk about some of those caveats of, you get health insurance for life after you pay for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You get a pension pretty much for life after you played for 5 to 10 years. And then you also, like we were saying, get guaranteed money and can put clauses in that can pay you $1 million until you're like 50. You can literally get big time $1 million money until your retirement pension kicks in. And I want to say the retirement pension for baseball is like 6 figures still. Are you kidding me? It's a no-brainer.
So what you're saying is that Ricky Henderson and Bobby Bonilla probably should not get that retirement money there at the end.
What I'm saying is Bobby Bonilla is making, on top of what the Mets owed him from deferred payments, is still also getting 6 figures from his MLB pension. And like I said, he doesn't have to worry about health insurance. So what is he paying for with the rest of his life? He gets up, he goes golfing, he can go to the doctor for free, he can have any surgery he wants for free.
Mm-hmm.
What is he doing? What is he paying for the rest of his life? He's just sitting. He's just building wealth at that point.
Yeah. Just building wealth instead of just the priorities of wanting to just dominate and do your thing in the sport or whatnot. And you can't blame him. You honestly cannot at all. Well, great, sir. This has been a tremendous second edition of RBI Kings. Do you have any final words or whatnot before we head on to the next episode in due time, maybe early in the week or whatnot? We'll see how it goes. Any final words that you got on this one?
I said a lot. There's not much left to be said.
I thought you was going to end it. I thought you was going to end it at I said a lot. That's what I thought you was going to end it as. You know,
I was just gonna end it as I said a lot. That's just leave it at that. Put the period on it.
Well, on that note, great sir, I appreciate it as always. To people, this man is the premier baseball mind to meet in America all the way. Sir James Eddy, thanks again, sir, for all this or whatnot. And I'm Andy Jerell Jones telling you thanks again for watching this whole RBI Kings flow. RBI Kings flow. We'll see you on the next one. Catch it on down.